J. Berg, Esquire, the first attorney who filed suit against Barack H. Obama, challenging Senator Obama's lack of constitutional qualifications eligibility to serve as President of the United States, and his cases that are still pending in federal court. Berg versus Obama, Third Circuit Court of Appeals, number 08-4340. Berg as Realtor versus Obama, U.S. District Court, the District of Columbia, number 08-CV.01933. ObamaCrimes.com is his site. You know, I really respect Phil Berg, and I was aware of a lot of his work on the Bill of Rights and Constitution previously. He was also a Deputy Attorney General of a major state. He's just done a lot of important work. And so I first saw him early in the campaign start looking at Obama and the birth certificate. And we've had him on many times, and we've covered it. I didn't put it in the Obama deception, the big premiere film about Obama, because I knew so many others were covering the birth certificate, and that so many Democrats had closed their minds to the birth certificate. It was seen as partisan, even though Mr. Berg is a registered Democrat and involved, you know, with the ACLU and everything else, a lifelong Democrat, that it wasn't partisan. It was a constitutional crisis issue, and how he could be blackmailed with this info, which is clearly going on now. So in the Obama deception, we cover his carbon tax, his anti-gun stance, he wanting to start all these new wars, lying and hiring nothing but lobbyists, his handlers, the Federal Reserve people like Geithner, who were telling Bush what to do with the bailout, literally his bosses on the financial takeover being Obama's handlers. That's why the Obama deception didn't get into it. It gets into everything that wasn't being covered, everything that wasn't being looked at, while at the same time we've been covering the birther issue, as it's called, here on air. Now, why do I have Phil Berg here? Why is he going to be on a lot more? Why are we going to get Colonel Hollister, who's one of his clients, one of the high-level military officers, coming out and saying, I want to see the birth certificate? Because it's now reached mega crest level. Obama lies and says, I'm not going to hire any lobbyists. All he hires is lobbyists. He says he's fighting banker bailout money to Goldman Sachs. It turns out, and AIG, that he wrote a special piece to the bill to do it. People know Obama's a liar now. His approval rating's gone from 84 in the highest for Rasmussen to 49 in 6 months. I mean, he is dropping like a rock right now in a big way. And people know that when the media just says there's no truth, you're kooks, how dare you ask to look at the birth certificate? Everybody's seen the birth certificate when they put out a receipt of birth certificate itself, according to many mainline experts and people matching them with their receipts for birth certificate, is a forgery. So people see all this, and they're really starting to ask very serious questions. Then the Washington Post comes out and makes fun, and then we're going to Phil Berg, of anybody and everybody that asks questions. The birther brouhaha, Washington Post. And it says, speculation about the true citizenship of President Barack Obama has resurfaced in recent days, in part thanks to a viral video. Despite a widely circulated copy of his certificate of live birth, notices in 2 Honolulu newspapers, and other evidence, some won't let the issue die. Fanning the flames are commentators Lou Dobbs and Rush Limbaugh, who have suggested the question remains unsolved, excuse me, and 10 House Republicans who have co-sponsored bills that will require presidential candidates to provide a copy of their original birth certificate. And then they ask this stupid poll question. What for you would clear up the question of Obama's citizenship? An official certificate and birth notices from 2 newspapers? A time machine visit to the hospital on the day of the alleged birth? Tie him up, throw him in the water. If he floats, he's an American, saying it's a witch hunt. Nothing ever. So see, this poll is meant to ridicule anybody asking questions. Even the semi-serious first question, first option, an official certificate and birth notices from 2 newspapers. See, an official birth certificate would have done it, but they won't do it. Why? Why has he signed an executive order blocking the release of that document? Oh, yes. So, see, now we have his grandmother reportedly saying he was born there. Now we have the government saying they put a plaque up at his birthplace. I mean, all of this evidence. And now we have the expert, the guy who was there day one on all of this. And my whole issue is I didn't know one way or the other, but the way they act suspicious, the way they act scared. Then I saw Bill Maher this weekend. I watched politically, his a little propaganda real time with Bill Maher. And he acted scared. Mrs. Eisenhower on the show acted scared. They're freaked out, and now I know why. Everywhere congressmen go, they're shouted down by this issue under the surface, because when the mainstream media just pats somebody on the head and says, you've seen the birth certificate, when we haven't, and when there's all these cover-ups going on, and his mother not living in the United States long enough when she had him, because you've got to have one parent who's lived here a certain amount of time for him to be president. He's not eligible that way either. Any way you cut it, this is crazy. We now go to Phil Berg, and I appreciate him joining us. I just wanted to recap the basics, obamacrimes.com. Bottom line, Mr. Berg, what's really going on here?
Well, it's a massive cover-up. I believe this is the biggest hoax ever put forth to the citizens of this country in over 230 years in the history of our country, and one person's responsible for it, and that's actually his real name, we believe, is not Barack Hussein Obama. We believe his legal name today is Barry Soetoro when he was adopted in Indonesia. And when all was said and done, and the truth will come out, I think Obama, or Soetoro, whatever you want to call him, his wife Michelle Obama, Howard Dean, the former head of the Democratic National Committee, other officials of the Democratic National Committee, senior campaign officials, and now senior administration officials who know the truth about this should all be subjected to the criminal justice system and tried, and those that are convicted should go to jail, and Obama should go to jail and then be deported. This is outrageous what is going on here. When Arnold Schwarzenegger, people have talked to him, the governor of California, about running for president, what has he said? Amend the Constitution. And Barack Obama, basically, without saying it, he's saying, I'm walking all over the Constitution. I don't care about the Constitution. Why would all of his records, every record of Obama is sealed? Every record. And I'm the first one to give a response on why his college records are being sealed. I believe his records from Occidental, Columbia University, and Harvard Law School are sealed because I believe they will show that he applied for and received foreign aid. This is outrageous. The national media should be I don't know if you saw it in Saturday's New York Times. They actually quoted one of my quotes. They interviewed me because of the upswing with the media. And I said, I wish the national media, including the New York Times, I wish I could sue them for not properly vetting Obama. This is a total disgrace. For 2 years, they didn't do anything. But look what they did to Sarah Palin. Not that I'm saying I'm for her, but they ripped her apart. What did they do to Obama? Anything he says is no big deal. I love the one when it was getting near the November elections, and he stated, I arrived in Oregon. This is my 57th state, and they wouldn't let me go to Alaska or Hawaii. I didn't know we had 59 states in this country, in this great country of ours. And you know what? If anybody else had said that, it would have been front page news for weeks. Because remember, going back to Dan Quayle, just misspelled the word potato, and they didn't let him live it down. But Obama gets a free ride no matter what's going on. I think he just stepped too far when he was commenting on this incident with the police officer the other day. I think that this might, with everything else, and as you said, Alex, all his promises are turning into fiction at this point because he talks out of both sides of his mouth, but that's not why I'm there. I'm there to enforce the U.S. Constitution. I'm there for the 305 million people in this country who deserve to know the truth. I'm there for our forefathers, and I'm there for the 1.5 million men and women who have died over the years fighting in various wars to protect our Constitution. In addition, there's another 1.5 million who are wounded. So that's over 3 million men and women have died or been wounded fighting to protect this Constitution, which Obama is trying to tear apart.
You know, Mr. Berg, I don't want to get into conspiracy theories, but were they planning this so they can then have to have an amendment to make a foreign-born president for Schwarzenegger? I mean, if they knew he was born in Kenya, and this was so unbelievable for me that I had trouble, even though I know you're a credible person, in really getting my mind around this. And then as the cover-up expanded, and now they won't release any of his college records and his foundation records and his mother's records and his father's records, and they guard them like it's the Kennedy assassination, records or something. I mean, they're certainly acting suspicious, and now they're on TV going, we're scared. These crazies won't listen to us. We've given them the records when they haven't given us the records, and they would have just released the stinking birth certificate and this cover-up of saying they have released all his records when it's not true. I got to tell you, Mr. Berg, I will take my time making a decision about something.